AITA for allowing my BIL to be thrown out of my house on Christmas after he insulted my brother who has Down syndrome. Throwaway account because I'm a Reddit noob. My hubby M40 and I F35 have been together 10 years, married for 5. We bought a fixer-upper 2 years ago and finally completed upgrades and repairs just in time to host Christmas. Both sides of the family came. My parents, my brother Frank, M30, and his girlfriend now fiancée Lila F29, and my hubby's parents and his brother Todd M32. Since it's relevant, I'll mention that my brother Frank has Down syndrome. He also graduated from high school and college. He has his BA in early childhood education. He also has his own apartment and his own car. He works full-time as a preschool teacher, and his job loves him. I have freaking amazing parents, and when Frankie was born, their attitude was, you'll do as much as you're encouraged to do, and we all invested heavily in helping Frank be all he can be, which is a lot. I never felt left out or forgotten by my folks, by the way. They worked really hard to make sure we both had a great childhood. My hubby and Frank are total brothers, lol. Frank was his best man in our wedding, and after being friends with Frankie for a few years, he switched his job as a high school English teacher to a special education teacher. It required some extra schooling, but my dude loves his job so much now and he's so happy. So obviously, Frank is popular in the family. At the party, I knew my hubby and Frank were up to something because they were whispering a lot and grinning. Right before dessert, Frank stood up and talked about how this year has been the best of his life. He said he wished he could keep his life this way forever. My hubby pipes up with, if you like it then you better put a ring on it, and tossed Frank a ring box. He got down on one knee and asked Lila to marry him. She, of course, said heck yes. It was so touching and honestly, everyone was crying and hugging and so excited. I noticed my BIL Todd wasn't smiling and looked pretty irritated. Todd is single, probably because he enjoys Andrew Tate so much, and he and my hubby have never been close. When we all stopped hugging and sat down, Todd muttered finally under his breath. Everyone heard it though, because he absolutely meant us to. I asked if there was a problem. He said, and I quote, I'm not that interested in celebrating two people pretending they can have a real life. I almost caught a charge because I almost punched him. Frank just laughed at him and asked, still single, huh? Which made everyone laugh. Todd stepped towards him and my hubby told him to sit down and shut up. He also told him he's an embarrassment. Todd got mad and told my hubby that the embarrassment was how he pretended that Frank and Lila are actually functioning adults. At that, my hubby stood up, yanked Todd's chair out, and told him to get the hell out of our house. He told him he didn't want to see his face or hear his voice until he sincerely apologized to Frank and Lila. Todd started to refuse to leave, so I got my phone out and told him I was calling the cops to escort him out if he refused to leave on his own. He's been in Dutch with the cops a few times for drunk and disorders and assault, so that got him to peel out quick. Hubby's parents were clearly embarrassed by Todd's behavior, and they left a few minutes later, after apologizing to Frank and Lila. We told them they were more than welcome to stay, but they left anyhow. This morning I woke up to a bunch of texts from Todd, demanding I talk to my hubby and fix this. I told him no and blocked him. Then my Emile called and asked me to talk to hubby. I was kind about it, but I said no. I told her it's between hubby and Todd, and I respected my husband's feelings. She got upset and said that her family is getting torn apart and I'm allowing it. I told her again I was sorry, but that Todd is totally responsible for this, and she needed to take it up with him. She hung up crying. I still don't think hubby and I were wrong here at all, but I truly like my MIL and those tears definitely got to me. But I refuse to let my brother and best friend be abused in my home. AITA here. Update. Todd is on Reddit and loves the AITA group. He talked about it at Christmas. That's pretty much why I posted this. He's seen this and my Emile called and asked me to remove it. I said no. She says that this is mean. I told her Todd is meaner and I'm done. I told her the post stays up and that I'm never asking hubby to meet with them again. I am TAI no for encouraging my hubby to have contact with them, and I've apologized. Frank's opinion on all this is that he hasn't wasted time on in the past, and he's not starting now. I apologize to him too, for inviting my idiot BIL in the first place. Lila is as snarky as Frank and she told me no cake for him. LOL, she's the best. I'm maid of honor, so I'm working hard to come up with ways to make this proposal nonsense up to her. Someone said this couldn't be true, because no one would act like we did after Todd's comment. My response is that you don't know Frank. I think you suspect he's childish and throws fits when he's upset. You couldn't be more wrong. His stated attitude about people like Todd is that he refuses to act stupid just because someone else chooses to. As for everything else, yes, my hubs is the best. I had a ridiculously privileged childhood and I know that and am grateful.